If you are comfortable with weapons, there are weapons that you can consider. People's comfort levels are very different with weapons. Some people carry a firearm. There's licensing, practicing, and there's risks that come with that, right? And it's not for everybody. There are knives that you can carry. Again, risks that come with that, and it's not for everybody. The Kubaton is an option. Pepper spray is an option. When I was younger, I used to run in an area that had a lot of dogs and not friendly dogs. I used to run with an expandable baton because in Washington State, you're allowed to carry that publicly. You can't conceal it on your person. And so I just had an expandable baton that I would run with. So if I'm running, it doesn't look scary and it's not crazy. But if my biggest concern was dogs, it was something I could use to get a dog away from me if I really needed to. So there's options out there for you to consider. Know the laws, know what you're comfortable with, and know the risk that you might choose with different weapons bringing into your home.
I should share that. I definitely have several people have asked me about that too, that they've been attacked by dogs. So that's an interesting one.
I also liked it because when I had young children, I would run with my stroller and my kids couldn't hurt themselves with it, right? Obviously, I'm not going to let them play with weapons.
Of course.
But if my child were somehow to reach under the stroller and grab it, it's not a taser, it's not a knife, it's not a gun, it's not any of the things that children should never be near. A small baton, they're not going to hurt themselves with it. So that was the other reason I chose that at the time, because I had a toddler and I didn't want her touching any of the other stuff. So
that's something you can consider. A baton, a Kubaton is what I personally carry. And I know there's a percentage of this population watching this that's not in the US. So that's something you'll have to consider too, right? I mean, this is very specific to the US, but also if you are in India or Germany or whatever, Australia, I know there's some folks from Australia here. So just know that you can carry other things that are not weapons that you can then use to defend yourself, right? A stick, really, like a stick isn't a weapon per se, but you can still use it if you've trained. Like our knees uses sticks, right, to fight. So that's possible still to do that. So I just wanted to put that out there. I wanted to ask this, just take a quick jump back. You before mentioned when we were talking about weapons, you kind of brought up using a pepper spray. And I know I think it was you at MAPS when we did a presentation, and you mentioned that you don't recommend people use pepper spray because some of it actually does come back on the person using it. Yeah. So can you just explain that recommendation?
Some people love it. Some people love it as a tool. I do,
because it makes them feel safe having it.
Yeah, and it works well for them. I'm not a personal fan of OC, pepper spray, because I don't like it. And you cannot use it on someone else without getting it on yourself. So there's other tools that, as a police officer and as a female when I'm just off duty by myself and with my family, there's tools that I'm more comfortable with.
What are those? Can you share one thing that you would actually recommend a regular civilian to look into?
Yeah, like I mentioned before, I think batons for people who aren't comfortable with weapons can be a good tool.
Batons, an expandable baton. And I'm going to put a link down below, okay, if you don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Kubaton is a tool for a lot of people that's
I'll put a link down to that too.
It's easy to clip on your keys.
Keychain, yes.
Yep, and so it's something that's always there. They have personal alarms. I lived on a university campus,
personal alarm, huh?
And my campus had very strict weapons rules. You were not allowed to have weapons in the dorm. So
that includes Kubaton and those kind of things.
So I actually had a personal alarm when I lived in the dorms, and it was very loud, but it brought people to attention if something bad was happening to me. If I was coming through campus late at night by myself, I could hit that alarm. Really, no one would probably bother me because it was so loud it would hurt their ears and hopefully go away. But if anything else, it would make people come see what was happening. So there's different options. If people do want to use OC or pepper spray, I just recommend that they buy it, go somewhere safe where their pets or their children aren't going to be, and practice spraying it so you know what it looks like when it comes out. Because if it's just a big fog and you spray someone, it's going to come right back on you and you will have the effects as well, which could be runny nose, burning eyes, trouble breathing. If you need to know what you're carrying. And also a lot of people buy pepper spray and then they put it at the bottom of their purse.
That's right. What's the point, right? Walking out late at night. So like some of my nurses have told me this, that they do late night shifts and they're coming home or leaving or whatever at 2 in the morning. And incidents have happened to those nurses and doctors as well. And it's like, yeah, if you know that, then why is the pepper spray at the bottom of your purse, right? That's important.
At that point, your purse is the better weapon. To just swing it and hit somebody
exactly,
with it, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cell phone can be a weapon, right?
Yeah.
If you can aim, if you're good at that. Keys, better weapons there. Yes, that's what I would recommend, right? Using your purse, knowing how to use your purse. If it's nice and heavy, water bottle. I always have my water bottle on me. So that's what I use personally, right? If I have to use, because now my Kubaton is buried, but I do have my Kubaton for different circumstances when I don't have my water bottle. So kind of like that. So that's really cool. And I do want to share the story that I just remembered it. I was only a couple of weeks ago that it happened with my brother and my sister-in-law. She works in the medical field, my sister-in-law, and she has a pepper spray. and somehow it malfunctioned.
Oh.
And this was indoors. This was indoors.
Oh, no.
So, it got into their eyes, right? Because it just malfunctioned and it kept squirting. But what happened is that they turned it away and the kids heard commotion. So the kids came
Oh, no.
running. And so that got into the kids' eyes. They couldn't shut it off enough and it kept spraying. So it was pretty bad. That was a scary incident for them. They're like, we never used this pepper spray. It was brand new.
Oh my goodness. Oh. It's very unpleasant. I have.
And they had to run and get the kids to safety, and they didn't even care about themselves at the time. It was.
Oh gosh, no.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
So know that happens. This happened to my brother. He was just telling me the story a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, how does the pepper spray malfunction? I was really surprised.
Yeah.
Because you'd think they would build it with 0.0001% error rate.
I think sometimes it's because people will store them at the bottom of their purses, or they've loosened a thumb lock that's on them and the thumb press, or it might have just been a bad can. Oh, that sounds so awful.
Yeah.